We are back with another Writesea executive interview. My name is Brandon Mitchell, co-founder and CEO here at Writesea. And today we are in Barcelona, Spain at RecBuzz 2024. It's been an amazing opportunity to hear from some of the best and brightest voices and talents in the talent acquisition and HR tech space. And the purpose of these executive interviews is to really shine a light on the people behind some of the technology across this space and to really learn a little bit more about their stories, their backgrounds, and what they've built. And I'm super excited to introduce Alex Kuebel, the founder and CEO of KomboDev. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Awesome. So, Alex, just please tell us a little bit more about Kombo, like what you guys do, and why'd you come to RecBuzz?
At Kombo, we are building a unified API, mainly selling to job boards, TA tech companies, HR tech companies that use us to integrate with the systems of their customers, employers. And what we basically do, we aggregate all those different APIs, Workday, SuccessFactors, Cornerstone into one unified system that they can connect once to. And we do all the heavy lifting in the background for that.
That makes a lot of sense. And so what I'm hearing is that you all help job boards simplify how they integrate with their end users, right?
Exactly.
So it makes it a little bit easier. And so can you talk about, what was it before Kombo? Was it just like a manual process, or was it very labor intensive, and then you guys came and now it's a bit simpler? Can you kind of talk about that?
Sure. So a lot of legacy players, they built their in-house integration team. So they had like 5, 6, 7 engineers, partnership team members working on integrations, building out all those integrations and maintaining all the different edge cases. And yeah, that was one path. The other path is that they just had to sacrifice user experience due to not having integrations. So those are two different paths that we have seen in the market before we entered it with Kombo.
That makes sense. And so can you talk about how you got started in the industry? It seems that obviously as a founder and CEO, you're probably still one of the software engineers and kind of building. And so were you always working in API integrations? Like, can you talk about how you kind of got here?
Sure, yeah. With Kombo, we went through Y Combinator last year, or 1.5 years ago by now. And during our time at YC, we tried out different ideas, and our background, all the founders are software engineers. We were really sophisticated in the API space. We have built an API aggregator before with reverse engineered APIs. So we have been in the API space for a long time as software engineers, but then throughout YC went into the TA tech space and discovered this problem to solve.
I love it. For those who don't know, what is YC?
Yeah, YC is a big accelerator based out of the US. They back Airbnb, other like very famous US-based startups. And they basically take you for 3 months, help you with all the knowledge of the world to kind of give you guidance on how to start a startup as a very technical person. So for us, it was the perfect program to get our company off the ground.
I love that. And so basically, you went through an accelerator, and probably YC is arguably one of the most prestigious accelerators for a tech company to kind of go through, really understand, how business has been done at a higher level, especially as you look to scale up to do, maybe 10 million in revenue, 100 million in revenue. And there's quite a bit of a great track record of companies that went through YC. That's amazing. And so did you all raise any money as well, or did it stop at the accelerator?
Yeah, we went through YC, raised 4 million in total since then. And yeah, have been growing the team from 4 to over 20 employees in the last 1.5 years.
Wow.
So definitely some interesting growth there.
Awesome. And so can you tell me a little bit more about your ideal customer profile, right? I know you said that you work with job boards and you help them get to their employers. Is it every job board? Is it a niche job board? Are there, are these only large job boards that you like to work with? Can you walk me through who's the ideal client for a Kombo?
Sure, yeah. Normally it's a job board with over 100 customers. I think we also prefer job boards that have a direct relationship with their customers. There are a couple of aggregators that don't even know the employer behind the job ad, right? Then an API connection is always tricky to establish. So we're looking for job boards established in the markets that have built maybe already 1 or 2 integrations and that want to get rid of this integration pain, the maintenance pain, etc.
Yeah, and I can imagine as a job board, right? Like you said before, if you have to build an entire team around that, you have to staff that, resource that, can take away from your core business, which is basically trying to match the job seekers with the best, with the best, job ads, right? Because that's like the core of what they do. And so anything that kind of deviates from that is a pain. And I see that's like a really important problem that y'all are solving for these job boards.
Maybe one note on that. We have seen a lot of customers using Kombo and putting or relocating 4 or 5 engineers from integrations to product so that they could really focus on adding value for the candidates, for the employers, and not just plumbing those integrations in the back end. So we have definitely seen a big shift for our customers.
I love that. And it's almost like you guys sit as just infrastructure tech, right? Like you don't need to be front facing, hey, this is the Kombo integration, but like you are empowering so much that it's kind of like the magic and the invisible stuff that people don't see, right? Like you said, like the pipes below your house, for example, that keep the insulation and the water flowing. So that's a really, really good analogy of like where you go all kind of fit into the process. And so at this conference, I heard a lot about AI, right? I know you guys are building API integrations, but are there any use cases that you all are exploring, whether it's maybe helping the job boards integrate faster or any exploratory use cases of AI in you all's process?
Yeah, like even though we communicate with APIs and normally it has a lot of structured data, there are sometimes fields that are containing unstructured data where you can get some more information out of. Just one example, in a lot of APIs of ATS systems, you have the field description. And in this description field, you have so much data that is unstructured because it's kind of a string, right?
Right.
And for those use cases, we also apply AI to kind of not only structure the data that is available, but also infer new information from existing data.
I love that. Yeah. And I think to your point, like that's a really clear use case, right? Like it's like all this data, it's coming from these systems. A lot of systems aren't connected as they are today. And to be able to basically make it a little bit more cleaner of experience. And it's not as manual or just like a one-to-one. And again, AI is really smart in understanding things. And so I see that that's really good so that when you're connecting, like the data is accurate per se. I love that. And so, when it comes to, the rest of this year, are there any things or goals that you all are kind of looking at? I mean, it's still kind of really early in the year, right? We're only in April, so it's super early. Talk about some of you all's goals coming up, whether it's new products that you guys are launching or features. We'd love to kind of hear about that.
Definitely. Just a couple of weeks ago, we launched our US market, have the first couple of beautiful logos there that we serve with our ATS integrations. Overall, as Kombo, it's definitely growing as fast as last year, tripling again this year, offering also twice as many integrations to our customers. Those are our 2 main milestones for 2024.
I love that. So what it sounds like is we went through an accelerator and we're ready to grow, scale, and like you said, expand internationally. Because I think when we spoke offline, a lot of your clients today are across like Europe and UK, et cetera. But you are looking at the US market as a really, really big use case. Obviously, it's arguably one of the biggest markets for employers. And so if you want to get to the bigger clients, you need to go where they kind of play. So that makes a lot of sense. And I'm assuming, are there any specific like types of job boards in the United States that you're looking at, or is it agnostic? Again, I know you said over 100, ideal customers, but US has a lot of job boards. So are there any just, job boards that do certain things, or is it just, hey, if you're this big, we would love to work with you? And do you do anything for the employer, or is it just the job board today?
We are just in the background selling to the companies that use us for the direct employer. So we're not touching the relationship with the direct employer at all. Overall, I would say the best use case for us right now, also in the US, already working with a couple of programmatic recruitment providers, and they need a lot of data, also outcome data. Was someone hired? Was someone declined? What was the rejection reason? And all this data we basically parse in a standardized way. We also infer it with AI so that the programmatic recruitment providers are not only able to send applications into the ATS systems, but also optimize the algorithms based on hiring signals and outcome.
Yeah, and I think that is one of the most innovative things that I think you all do. And even when I heard of it in some of the use cases that I think we can use at Writesea for Kombo is the fact that you all have built this way to infer and to send back to whoever's sending that job seeker if that person got hired, which is really critical data for a lot of job boards or just people who play in the space, because what you always hear, even from like a job seeker perspective, is that the ATS is a black hole, right? Like you submit this job application and then who knows where it goes. And so the fact that you all have insight into the longevity of what happens down the line is just really innovative. And so what is the future of Kombo, right? Like, and I love talking to startup founders just because, the future's so bright, you could kind of build anything and the world is yours to create. But like, if you were to paint a vision, like what is Kombo 5 years from now?
For sure, yeah. So our strategy definitely to go deeper into the use cases. There's so much in HR tech that we haven't integrated yet, so many use cases that we are not serving it with our API. So doubling down on our ICP, helping them even more with the plumbing part of things. So infrastructure, that's our main focus, and that at a global scale.
I love that. Global expansion and helping people out. And so, Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to kind of sit down with us. How can people get in contact with you? Whether you're a job board or they want to learn about your APIs, or maybe it's an engineer that wants to join the Kombo team. How can they get in contact with you?
Just visit kombo.dev, and yeah, you will find everything else there.
Awesome. Alex, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks.
And this is why we do these Writesea executive interview series, to really highlight some of the brilliant minds building for the future of the HR tech and the talent acquisition space. And yes, please, watch and tune in, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.